want to talk about solar still. Solar still is a way of getting water that's been taught as for desert survival, and it's being taught all the way across the nation. And one of the things that you'll have resources when you're in a survival situation. The number one resource that you have to pay attention to the most is your energy. And all your other resources are either going to add to or subtract from that. If you let your energy get down to nothing, then you've lost your survival situation. And so that's one thing you got to pay attention to. Now, all of your decisions that you make is going to have that as part of the decision process. You know, how much energy is it going to take, and what is the payoff going to be? And that has to go as part of your decision as to whether you do something or not. Solar stills are a way that you can get water, and they're taught for desert survival. Now, here's what you have to have in order to even do one. You're going to dig a pit, actually, and that pit's going to be at least 3 foot across, and then it's going to come down, and then once you have that dug, then you have to have a collector, can or whatever, and you put that in the bottom. And then you have to have this rubber hose that's going to go in the can and then come on out to the edge of your pit. Then you have to have a piece of clear plastic that's going to fit over the top of your pit, and it's got to be big enough so that you can anchor this thing on the outsides. Then what you do is you get it anchored and you throw a stone in the middle so it'll weigh it down. And a lot of times when I start teaching this, you know, somebody will raise their hand and I'll go, well, you're in a survival situation. You actually have these materials, and you know, to actually have the materials in a survival situation, it's probably going to be a real rare thing that you would have. But if you did, that's how you make one. And the idea is that the moisture from the ground then will collect on that plastic, and it'll run down to where that rock is, and then it'll drip. And so your can has to be right underneath where that drips. And then the idea is you come along and the rubber hose, you'll suck the water out of that can. Now, I know Tony, he's out in Phoenix, and he's probably one of the best survival guys in our nation, and especially when it comes to desert survival. And Tony's made these, and he writes in his book that you'll end up sweating more than what you actually get out of these. So when it comes to how much energy it's going to take to build one and the return that you're going to get from it, in my book, the solar still goes into the water no-no list. You just will not get a good return on what it costs to make one. Now, solar stills would work, you know, I live in Michigan, and I'm in Michigan right now, and solar still would work better here because we actually have more moisture in the ground. But you wouldn't have to make a solar still here in Michigan. There's so many other sources that you could use that you wouldn't have to make a solar still. And so when it comes to solar stills, you probably won't have the materials in the first place. But if you did, you know, the actual amount of energy it takes to make it versus what you're going to get out of it, it's not one of those good things to do. And so in my book, the solar still becomes a lot of fun, especially in the desert. It doesn't work there. It works, but not well enough. So solar stills, we're going to put that into our no-no. And it does work, but not well enough. So keep that in mind.